Hello, today I want to talk to you about some vegetarian things that can be done to help heal the body for vegetarians. I'm not a vegetarian, but I've studied enough of what I call esoteric nutrition to be able to understand that there's ways to do things, different ways. There's many different fail-safe built into the system which allow for multiple ways to pull off the same thing at greater or lesser speeds. I mean, sometimes you can't go fast enough with vegetable products. Sometimes they're exactly what's needed. You know, um, all the plant kingdom basically work as medicines. They speed up circulation. They have a high, they have this type of quality on the body, which is great in certain moments. We need that. It doesn't mean that we're supposed to stay on that forever, but there's moments where that is important. And so a few things that we can do for vegetarians is a lot of the problems that vegetarians have is unstable energy. I know because I was vegetarian for 7 years. And unstable energy, and then they go straight into stimulants, teas, coffee, chocolate, sugar, even over salty, over acidic, all these things. They're all in the nature of stimulation. And so getting back to like a sober body chemistry is much easier when fats, protein, and carbs and all these things at their right ratio is understood. And then we have the nutrition to back it up, the nutrient density to back it up, where the body's not always seeking. I mean, a lot of the obesity in America is not because people are, like they just got all this great food. No, it's usually because the body can't find a vitamin. So it's like, keep eating. Maybe I'll staple one together through these 9 or 10 meals. But it doesn't find them. So it's nutrient density that the body is seeking. And if it doesn't find it, it sends genetic signals that there's nothing in the environment. There isn't, these vitamins in the environment. So it shuts down other signals and sacrifices other parts, fertility and teeth or hair or whatever it has to sacrifice because it's realizing that the environment's not producing. And it is in the environment. We just have thrown a lot of this stuff out into the trash can. Or we need more education around food. So some of the vegetarian things which would be great for unstable energy is fat, learning about healthy fats. Now, when I say vegetarian, I'm not talking about vegan. So we can include butter, and we can include a lot of butter would be probably the key number one, butter, palm, a butter, palm, coconut kind of mixture of fats would be amazing as, along with olive oil, like non-filtered olive oil. The good olive oil usually will really sting your throat a little bit when it comes in because it's been non-filtered and it has kind of like it has its medicinal quality still in there. And actually olive oil that doesn't have that quality actually can do the reverse in the body. So it's really important to pay attention to which one you get. And most of them are not good. Most of them don't work. So it's just a fact coming in, but you're not getting the medicinal value. So you have to be careful. Look for non-filtered. That's one keyword. Now, this array of fats can be combined and used, like even red palm, that can be very powerful. Like you can order it from African stores. It has a very high quantity of beta-carotene and retinol. And, combinations of good fats, vegetarian fats, need to be understood. The palm, the red palm, the coconut, the butter being key, butter being on top of all of those. Because the butter is the only one that's going to contain the fat-soluble vitamins. The rest are going to contain precursors, but they're to retinol, etc., but not to vitamin D. But they will not contain the actual vitamins. So it's very important. The best butter you can, not local, please. Use imported butter. Kerrygold, something imported. Go to Russian stores, get butter from the Alps, get butter from Latvia, taste them, become a connoisseur of butter and figure out what's in it. If it has that like light iodine kind of like healthy taste to it, or if it's just basic and doesn't have any taste at all. So check out the soil from where it's from, you know, look at, is it coastal? Is there, you know, could there be iodine in high concentration in it? It's very important, these little things. I mean, this was the number one source of iodine in America in these mountain communities and areas that weren't near the sea, and I mean, was in the milk. They picked it up from the environment. So this is not something that's just going to go away, or, you know, I know we have a lot more choices today, but we still have to pay a lot of attention to the butter, especially if you're vegetarian. Egg yolks, you know, tons of them, put them on everything, you know, and find soy-free eggs, order them online if you have to. Never buy an egg for $6, you know, a dozen, ever. They have to be close to $10 a dozen, or it's never going to work. And that's because you have to overcome the price point of the soy feed that they use. Or the organic glyphosate, which sounds crazy, but that's true. The organic snuck-in glyphosate that's found in corn mixtures that are supplemented with most all animal feeds. So we get in a lot of trouble. You got to go seek out these things. And once you get the right eggs, then use a lot of them on everything, and use the yolks and everything. You can triple up the yolks and use everything in the egg, but triple up the yolks. And if you have problems digesting eggs, make custard. You know, whenever eggs and milk combine, there's a colloidal kind of relationship, and it makes both more digestible. It's kind of strange. It's like magic, culinary magic. So sometimes when things aren't working, combine them and learn to cook, and you'll see that things start working again. So that's one of my recommendations. Custard would be a huge recommendation, at least, you know, weekly, or, you know, this is like calcium and the fat soluble vitamins combined. And this is like what creates tissue and structure and brain and health. And, you know, you want to get above zero. You don't want to be getting back to zero. Your organs need all this help. Especially if you're vegetarian, you have to be careful. The animals have made some things easier for omnivores to obtain. The energy variant, the energy, you know, differential that happens when I have to convert carrots into retinol in the body into vitamin A, that's a lot of energy for the body. The animal does that for me, so I'm able to retain that more directly. So there's the positive side is that, but the negative side is I can become lazy over depending on animals as well, and not allowing my body to go through these conversions and learn to be stronger, you know, so challenging the body. So you can have benefits in learning about vegetarianism for certain elements, for certain periods of your life maybe, or just, you know, as detoxification or as a moment of reflection. I mean, you know, religious history has this component built into it, and, you know, understanding the need of sacrifice is part of being an omnivore. And I personally, whenever I was a vegetarian, I didn't understand anything about sacrifice. I just thought we were supposed to stay away from the animals. And that's not it. That's not nature. Nature doesn't want us to stay away from her and not touch her, not harm her, and not do this and that and the other. Nature is strong. It's like with the grapes. I mean, if you don't cut them, then they grow back very, you know, small, and they don't produce well, and they actually become more and more, you know, decayed as the vine grows further and further. So it needs that human activity. It's strange, but there's a human connection to all this. Nature is not just alone without us. We're part of it. So there's an interdependence. And so even hurting nature, so to speak, you know, cutting that vine or whatever, is creating more strength in her. So we don't need to see things in such a childish way that we're supposed to just lay off of everything and don't touch anything. And, you know, but I had to learn the hard way, you know, that, you know, I lost a lot of, you know, teeth and hair, and I went through a lot of stuff before I realized that it was not the path for me. But so here we are, and now I'm, you know, trying to put things in perspective and help people. So another thing that's important for vegetarians for the blood is they have a lot of anemia problems, especially women, but in general, vegetarians. So a good blood tonic with two ideas that would be great is fermented beet juice. And fermented beet juice, you have to do it yourself. If you do it yourself, you can get, over time, it becomes almost thick, like It becomes thick like the blood. It becomes almost liquid blood. When you pour it, it looks exactly like blood, but it's even thicker. And that's what you want. If you can get to that level with it and then learn to mix that with either coconut cream and make little like red, amazing pink kind of power, smoothie thing. It's not really a smoothie, but just helps assimilate, the fats help assimilate the minerals in the beet. And this is going to be a powerful remedy if you can create this at least a couple times, 3 times, 4 times a month if you can, because you're making enough of it. And you can also use carrot juice and cream, coconut cream, or even cream, fresh cream. You can take cream, imported cream from Devon, which you can find usually. Devon cattle in the UK, or other imported creams, and you can kind of mix that in and whip it. Sometimes if you whip the cream, it's more digestible for most people.